What's going on, world?
Hey, everybody.
It's your guy, TJ.
And your girl, Dani.
And we're back for another episode of Lovers Quarrel.
Yes, yes.
This is episode number 24.
24, because you tried to clown me when I called last week's episode.
This is the Kobe episode?
Jordan episode, and you were like, that's corny. And I was like, oh, so we're not calling it the
I
Kobe.
didn't say it was corny. I just said I don't like when people use that.
Why?
It's just because we didn't use it. Like, it's just like people are reaching. I didn't say that you were corny for using it. I just said I don't like it. But
okay,
we can use the Kobe because my guy is
absolutely.
in here, a fellow Laker, you know.
Oh, you're a Laker fan?
Yeah,
okay.
so,
absolutely.
Well,
so this could be the Kobe episode.
My condolences on your season.
Nah, that's good. We rebuilding. That's crazy.
Okay, my bad.
Don't worry.
How's Lonzo doing?
He did good for a rookie.
How's the other light-skinned one doing?
Kuz was a steal for us.
Kuz is the man.
We got Josh Hart. He was a steal for us.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, he's a Villanova champion.
Go LeBron.
LeBron coming next year.
LeBron is not going to the Lakers.
When LeBron comes to the
You
Lakers.
think LeBron's going to the Lakers?
You know what? I actually do think he's going to come to the Lakers.
Y'all,
I'm not a
you know
LeBron
what?
fan.
Y'all keep hope alive. If
What?
LeBron goes to the Lakers, I will give you each $1.
Okay.
Bet taken.
He's coming.
Next year.
He's coming
Let's
next
be
year.
specific. Next season.
Next season.
What is this, the 18-19 season?
He's gonna be a Laker. It makes the most sense.
What if they win the finals?
That's even more reason for him to leave.
Why would he leave if his team is winning?
Because he gave him 2 championships. There's nothing else there for him.
Yeah.
There's nothing else there for him.
Well,
and you've never visited Cleveland.
well,
Cleveland is terrible.
People don't know is that LeBron's son is actually his older one is starting. I think is he going in like middle school or junior?
I think he's in middle school now.
Right.
In LA.
But he's playing right. He's playing for a school in LA.
Yeah.
And
Oh, is he
LeBron
now?
just bought a huge house out there
In
recently.
LA.
I mean,
That's his summer
because
home.
LA,
And he already
Summer.
stated that he wanted to be close to his son as he go to school. So it's like already.
Listen, he has nothing else to give Cleveland. He gave them a championship.
you think
There's nothing
so?
else.
Are they gonna win? Is he gonna win this season?
I think
I don't know. It's tough.
I think we'll get LeBron and Paul George. Paul George is a done deal.
Yeah.
Paul
Paul
George
George
is
definitely
already-
coming.
he's already done
I don't
deal.
know if I like them two playing together, but we'll see.
Yeah, but he's a definitely lock.
Yeah.
He already.
Yeah, he's coming home. Because
He's
he's
not
coming
going
home.
back to OKC.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, if y'all are right, y'all are each $1 richer.
I'd actually like to get Kawhi instead of LeBron. To be honest with you,
I'm not sold on Kawhi.
I am.
I'm not.
Kawhi.
Have Kawhi and Paul George.
I'm not sold on Kawhi. And then him not playing this year. I mean,
He don't like the market out there.
yeah, I get that, but you don't give up on your team.
I understand.
You don't give up on your team.
I understand.
Y'all are speaking
Kawhi
language I
plays.
don't.
Kawhi plays, and it's a different playoffs.
Yeah. You're right about that.
So, I don't want someone who's just going to give up. Like, if Kobe Bryant can rupture his Achilles and hit 2 free throws and walk off on his own accord, he could have been like, I'm good.
Right. You want somebody
Everybody
to
not
use that.
Kobe.
You're
See,
right.
like now you're speaking like conversation I can like still chime in
Because
on.
you got to watch more basketball than just LeBron.
I watch enough basketball.
Nah, you don't know who Kawhi is then.
I do know who Kawhi Leonard is. Does he have cornrows?
Nah, he cut those.
Okay, but he had cornrows.
Yeah.
Okay, see, I know who that is.
Got you.
Like I learned about basketball because of like kind of like through osmosis. Like I'm just in the room.
Yeah.
So then like some stuff kind of
So it's
seeps
like
in.
you have no choice.
Yeah, kind of thing. Although it does help me like connect with my 8th grade boys. Like I have enough to like get in on the conversation.
Be the teacher that doesn't know anything about what the boys are talking about.
Exactly. Although I don't want to know a lot of things about the things that they do say in front of me.
Right.
Because they
Yeah,
somebody
great. I understand.
yeah, one of my boys said today, he was like, should I drag my nuts to coach class? And I was like, I'm standing right here. And he was like, it's a figure of speech. I said, I'm very clear on figures of speech. I was like, I don't think you were literally doing that. I said,
Right.
but just I'm still standing here. Don't
Right.
say that stuff in front of me, please. So that's my day to day. That's my life. But
That's what's up.
yeah, shout out
That's
to
pretty funny.
Huh?
That's pretty funny. But
you know, my kids are pretty funny.
so again, we have a special guest, and we'll introduce y'all to him
Formally
later on. We're gonna go into the elevator talk. You starting this off, or am I starting it off?
You can start it off. I started off like the last couple times.
My elevator talk.
You want me to do my little
Yeah,
ad lib?
yeah, go ahead.
So he says I'm good at this. So I was like, 4th floor.
I hate you. We're gonna have to work on this.
Why?
Because you can't start on the 4th floor. Every elevator starts on the 1st floor.
But you always want to do the 4th floor because you're a 4.
All right, so then you would start on the 1st floor and we're going up to the 4th floor. If we're going up, if we're going down, you can't be like 10th floor. I mean, you could, but it's just mad weird.
1st floor.
No, the elevator's open, so we're gonna work on that.
Whatever.
Anyway,
what if you got on at the 4th floor?
My pitch today. It's up and down. I'm gonna be in the middle. I was gonna be stuck.
You want to be stuck in the elevator?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm cool with that.
Let me drink some water on that.
There's been a lot of reports of African Americans getting the police called onto them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, happened in Yale twice. Mm-hmm. Well, not twice, but the same woman who called it on the woman called it on a male before.
Sure did.
They were in Oakland and they were outside barbecuing and got the cops called onto them. They flipped that though because they want to turn it into a barbecue, which I applaud. And then I watched a video today, and a realtor was checking a home.
One of his properties. Yeah,
one of the properties he's looking to purchase, and woman calls cops on him, and it's just like, it's so crazy that that's the call. That's always the call, and
for the police to do their dirty work.
Well, I mean, in these instances, the police didn't do the dirty work, but it's. Could you imagine?
Yes, I can.
Like, imagine me coming to my house and I get the cops called on me because I don't
look suspicious.
You know what I mean? And it's nothing. You just gotta accept it. You gotta accept it because that's the climate. And then when the cops come, you gotta like remember like. Where my cell phone at? Let me not reach for anything.
Remember your training.
Let me, or make sure my phone is out already so I can have it on record because they may shoot me. So that's like my pitch. I'm upset about it. I like the Oakland joint was dope to me. Like they called the cops. Cool. We want to call the cops, and everybody came out and they was doing electric slide and yeah.
Before I let you go, I was playing.
You know, but it's just like. When these people call the cops, do they realize the danger that they're putting us in? No,
they don't. Because they don't live that life. Their privilege lets them think that if the cops were called on me, I would just explain myself and go on about my business. But that's not the reality of being a person of color in America. And what I say when I say like even though the cops in these situations didn't necessarily accost or arrest the people that they were coming to question, it's the fact that like white people in this country feel like police are basically like they're like I can sick a police officer on a black person if I feel like you don't belong in this space, if you look out of place to me, if I think you're breaking the law, when that's not the case, and it wasn't the case in any of those 3 situations that you listed. And so like they don't think that. Like they think that like you're black, you're doing something wrong, you look out of place, you look suspicious to me, you must be doing something wrong. Mm-hmm. Therefore I'm going to call the police on you and let them handle you because you need to be handled like a thing, like a piece of property, like an object. And they don't necessarily take our lives into consideration and think about how, wow, if I call the police on them, like this country has a history of people of color being, you know, falsely accused, arrested, and killed at the hands of police. That's not their problem because that's not their reality. So that's why they're not going to think twice by calling the cops. And then you can miss me with your white tears like that lady at the park did when she because really what it was that it was an ally of sorts, or another white woman who was like, the video was her questioning that way, like, why did you call the cops on this man, this and the other? And she was like pressing her, following her, and she was like, you need to leave me alone. She's like, oh, I need to leave you alone? She was like, I need to leave you alone? She's like, there's the irony in that. You should have left this man alone. Right. And that's when you see the images, and like the memes of course are hilarious because the internet remains undefeated. And she's like, she's harassing me, she's following me. She was like, oh, I'm harassing you now. She was like, this is what you did to this man. And not to take
it, just reminds me of like so where we live in front, there was some kids who me and Dani kind of seen grow up. Mm-hmm. They had a basketball court on like their porch was like it's like their backyard. Mm-hmm. If you seen when you came in, they had a basketball court. They're playing basketball out there, and the people complained about it. Like, the white neighbors complained about it because all the black kids were outside playing basketball. They weren't out all night, but it was like now.
It was like
Right,
6,
right.
7 o'clock.
Yeah, they're probably playing till 8 o'clock. Like once it got dark, they'll leave or whatever. Shit, I play with them sometimes. Fuck it.
Yeah.
But it was just like they could be doing so much more worse things.
Am I supposed to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's funny because growing up, I remember when we were kids, like that was a normal time for us to be outside playing sports and doing stuff like that. It was like nowadays, I'm actually surprised that you said people were outside playing because most of the kids are in the house playing video games. On the phone
Exactly.
now.
It was till the street lights
So for
came
me,
on.
when I seen them,
Right,
I'm looking. They looking at me
cheering
like,
on,
"What
like,
up? You trying to play?"
Yeah.
I came in from work one day, like, Danny, I gotta go play. I gotta bust their ass real quick.
Yeah, they were talking shit.
No matter like where I go, I never see kids outside playing. So if I would have saw it, I would have been caught off guard about it. And like you said, you don't want to go over there and play. You want to see what's up. And the question to what you asked her is like, do they understand the position that they putting us in when they're calling the cops on them? I think the better question is, do they care?
Good
They
point.
don't. They don't.
Most
They really
certainly do
don't
not.
care. What we had to experience, because regardless, the thing that really pisses me off is you'll explain to them what your experience is, and then they'll try to make an excuse about it. It's like, no, it's no excuse. Like, I got mistreated for no reason, or they just think that you're making it up. And it's like,
Or if you had just done this.
right, a whole race of people don't just make something up. You just, once you hear something more than twice, 3, 4 times, you understand, okay, it's a pattern.
Yeah, exactly. Like people
So,
walk different parts of the country,
That's
different
the
walks of
thing.
life.
That's the
Like,
thing that pisses me
now
off.
this experience is
I
a little bit shared.
it happens mainly in America. You go in other places, there's racism everywhere. I'm not saying that, but you go in other places, and I've been treated like a regular person. I go to Toronto, there was nobody like, what are you doing? Like I did Airbnb in Toronto, and there were people looking kind of like, but no one called the cops. No one, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that just happened too to Bob Marley's granddaughter.
Yeah, I seen that.
She called. Did you hear about that?
No.
So they were. I guess it was in. I want to say California. They had an Airbnb, and the neighbor called the cops on them as they were leaving, talking about it looked like they thought somebody was breaking into their neighbor's house, and they're like, "Who breaks into the house and brings like suitcases?"
Right.
Like and so
I'm gonna break it. I'm gonna stay here.
exactly. I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna lounge here for a little bit, and I'm gonna then
I'm making it
I'm
obvious.
gonna leave at 3:00 in the afternoon in the middle of the day with my suitcases, and I'm a burglar.
Right.
I mean, that's just so that's why my elevator pitch is where it's at. It's like the positive was the Oakland thing, but it's just like it's scary. And the last few weeks I've been talking about how scary it is. But being a black person, being a black male, I feel like is like the scariest. Being black comes with its own risks. But like a black male, like we have so much more that we have to like really wonder, worry about, and conduct ourselves a certain way. Maybe,
I don't think, and maybe we say, I don't want it to feel like we say that because we men, but I really truly feel that way as well. It's just like, being, like you said, being black is one thing, and then being a black male in another type of environment, it's just like a whole nother, level of responsibility and awareness that you have to have for your situation.
Like, I used to want a son, but I kind of don't.
Yeah, black masculinity. Yeah, masculinity is kind of like feared among us.
It is.
And I'm
I've
tall,
seen it.
so
Right.
if I had a son, most likely he's gonna be tall.
Right.
So now he's gonna be tall, and if he's big, he's gonna be a target. People are going to be afraid of this big, tall frame male, and that's scary.
Yeah.
That is scary that you can walk out your house, and if he comes out the house with a hoodie on, and a new neighbor moves in, and they never seen him before, they may call the cops. Shit, it may happen to me.
Yeah, it's happened. It has happened to you. Like you've been pulled over.
I've never been like, I never had the cops called on me like going into my place.
You never had the
I've
cops
definitely
calling.
had,
But we had even going back to when we were at Towson. My first roommate didn't like. Never. She was racist and never. She usually left on weekends, and so occasionally when TJ would come visit me, she wouldn't be there. And this one time, she happened to still be there when he came to visit me one time. We came in, and accidentally like made some noise or whatever, and so she like got upset and like stormed out and was like, at this point me and her had already like been at odds for a little bit,
right.
And she went storming down the hall looking for the RA, and I cut her off, and like, because I already knew the RA was downstairs, and I went down there and I was like, you need to come get her, blah blah blah, she's about to start some shit. And she like, we had to have a sit down with the residence hall director and everything. And I'm like, my boyfriend's here from New York. Like, he comes all the time. It's never an issue. Mm-hmm. And she was like, well, I'm not comfortable with his male presence. And I had to be like, you mean his black male presence? I was right. Like, the fact that my boyfriend is, over 6 feet and this big and a big guy, this and the other. I was like, that's what your problem is.
This was at Towson?
Yeah, this was at Towson. And so
this was 2005.
2006, yeah.
So 2006. Like,
it was Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day weekend.
And so we ended up, and then like I didn't want to be in there with her or whatever, so because she didn't really have any other friends and anything like that, I went next door. We stayed next door, and my roommate, who is ultimately being my line sister, stayed with her roommate, the two of us. And that's the stuff, because
we didn't stay with Cherie.
We did.
No, we didn't. We stayed across the hall. Cherie was the door next to you.
Mm-hmm. What, Abby and Emily?
Yeah.
Oh, well, then there you go.
They stayed in, one of them stayed in your room.
I can't imagine having a roommate and potentially being racist, or she was,
Yeah, like she just like she didn't even recognize her own bias. So I felt like I never forget. She was like, one time, I like sometimes I like it to the point it was so bad that like I would like I would like test her. Like, so one time, the first time I realized it was when we were watching, remember the show House that used to come on, the like doctor show? And one time, LL Cool J was like a guest star. Mm-hmm. So we're watching it on my TV, and she's like, oh, DMX. And I was like, no, LL Cool J. Right. And then she looks at me and she's like, no, Dani, DMX. And I'm like, take my word for it. Right. I'm like, this is not DMX, this is LL Cool J. And she's just like, oh, they all look alike. Right. And I'm like, oh my God, like they don't tell a black person like all black people look like they're bald and they're black men, but
because LL Cool J and DMX
look nothing alike. Nothing alike. And then that's when I started to kind of just like, right. And see. And then one time, she was a big Dave Matthews Band fan, and finally one day I was like, he's African, right? And she was like, what? No, he's not. I'm like, yeah, he is. I was like, you're African if you're born in Africa, aren't you? Mm-hmm. And so she's like, no, he's... And like, because Dave, if anybody doesn't know, Dave Matthews is South African. He was born in South... And so like, I remember like fact checking all that, and I said it, and she got in such a tizzy over it. And because she was like, you got to be black to be from Africa. And she was from like a farm in West Virginia, so she was really, really sheltered and stuff. Yeah. Farm, West Virginia. So that was, not to go too much off on a tangent, but like that was my experience. And like, but then seeing him like be profiled or assumed to be something negative just because of his physical stature and presence, despite the fact that like you see pictures of us, like I've been talking to you about him all this time, like, he's been nothing but nice to you, but one time you have to like be in the same quarters with him, now it's a problem. Funny
fact though, just a random funny fact is that before I went to Towson, I went to Virginia State. It was an all-black college, and it was one person on campus who was white, and that was my roommate.
Really?
It was just funny. It was like, damn, out of all the people,
were they racist?
It wasn't an issue, of course, but I'm just saying it was just weird that one white person on this whole campus,
and that's your roommate,
and we were cool, but it was just funny.
You guys still speak today?
Huh?
Do y'all still speak today, or?
I haven't talked to him in a while. He was a good dude, man. He was in the ROTC program, so he was a good dude though.
Yeah, that's not all of them, and that's the thing. Like, huh?
Do you have an elevator pitch?
I mean, I do. It's not as like engaging.
It don't have to be engaging
or whatever. It's really, really surface level. But when I was just driving home to get ready for this, and I was just like still like at a light looking at my phone, it really bothers me how spotty my self service has been getting lately.
Verizon is trash.
But it usually it's not, and like I don't understand, and it's bothering me. It's bothering me. Like, it's fine here. It's fine in school.
That's what they say.
But everything in between, it's like when I'm at certain parts of 695, or like when I pick up Tatum and I'm like at when I'm like where the 7-Eleven is, I'm coming home. It's like everything's buffering, and it pisses me off. And I mean,
I get AT&T.
I'm good. So that's, I mean,
That's it. Spotty. You don't like spotty service?
I don't. No, I don't.
You
And
gotta probably move to like a bigger city.
no, I don't need to move to another city or a bigger city. That's just my vent. I mean, on my elevator talk, I'm tired of the cruddy service when I'm not at home or
Gotta do
work.
something different. That's all you gotta do.
We're gonna move right along.
Until our guest, do you have anything for this elevator?
I don't have a real topic of like a elevator pitch specifically. I want to say like just to anybody listening or people that's pushing to do things is just to stay persistent in what you're doing and persevere. It takes everything is a long horse race. It's definitely not easy, but it's just to stick with what you're doing. If you're having some hard times, just stay focused and keep pushing forward, man. Never give up. That's all. That's all I wanted to put out there.
How inspirational.
That's all I wanted to put out there, man. Because it's easy.
You got good energy.
Elevators really it's the up and down.
Yeah.
That's kind of why we changed it. Because we used to call it the event of the week, but I feel like if you say event of the week, then it's always negative. So I want to make it something more positive.
Oh, yeah. The elevator is definitely how I can explain any type of journey that anybody is going on, because like you said, it's ups, it's downs, it's up, up, and it's down, 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 down. So you just gotta believe in yourself, just keep moving and keep pushing, and I guarantee if you stick with it, you come out on top at the end. All right.
You can say closing more doors.
Prepare for the closing doors.
There you go.
All right. Even though that's a train, but still.
I mean, listen.
All right.
It's our elevator.
Okay.
Our elevator got different.
We got that new.
Yeah.
All right. So now it's time for the relationship tip of the week. And in doing this, I found this one, and I thought it's good because, TJ and I are really big on communication. And one thing that you can do whenever you're in any type of relationship, not just the romantic sense or marriage or just any bond that you have with somebody, is echo each other. And by echoing each other, you want to make sure that you're heard. So I think that this is something that you and I could stand to do better sometimes, because a lot of times, you'll say something to somebody and what you said and what they heard are totally two different things. And the best way sometimes as the person who's receiving that comment or information is to repeat it back to the person. So that way, like, you can say, like, okay, what I heard from what you just said is XYZ. And then you can either be like, absolutely, or you can be like, no, what I said was ABC. And I think that is a great tip, because a lot of conflict stems from miscommunication. And in echoing what you heard from somebody else, you are doing your best effort. You're making your best effort to eliminate some of that confusion. Now, it's not always going to work. It's not foolproof.
Just repeat.
I'm saying that that's a step in the right direction. It probably could eliminate a lot of confusion if people were to repeat back from each other. Because when I say, take out the trash, you might hear like, you don't do enough around the house. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, like, people really take.
That's pretty extreme.
But people take it there sometimes because I'm huge on reading between the lines with certain things, and you just always like, there are no lines to read between, and I disagree. So so therefore, when you echo it back to each other, to the person, you are taking a step in the right direction to having clearer communication, and that is the tip of the week.
So to have clear communication, you gotta echo it back.
Echo it. It's a step in the right direction. It's not a foolproof one, but it helps.
I like it.
Am I allowed to chime in on this?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think that's a good tip, and I feel like sometimes when I say things, like you said, it gets turned into something else, and I'm like, how did you get that out of what I just said? So, I'm gonna have to take up on some of your tips that you just, I might have to check back in every now and then, because
well, listen,
sometimes, it's just like, I said this, how did you get to this from this? And it goes in a whole nother direction. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, listen back on for other episodes. Hopefully,
Yeah,
you got a little gem there, and see something or hear something that you like.
And now we're gonna take a break.
What he said.
So we can so you can hear a message from our sponsors, and then when we get back, you'll be able to be formally introduced to the man on the opposite side of the table.
Yes, the voice.
Oh, yeah.
Hey friend, it's time for you to ditch those workout gloves and get the grip and wrist support you deserve. What do you suggest? You need to get the Gaines Load and Lock grips by Gaines Sports Gear. They are more durable than gloves, have a non-slip grip pad that provides grip support and added wrist support unlike your traditional workout gloves, and will protect your hands from calluses. Do they come in different colors? Not only do they come in different colors, but they are available for men and women. Do yourself a favor, go to GainesSportsGear.com. And remember, a better grip equals a better lift. Embrace the process.
And to get 10% off your first order, go to GainesSportsGear.com. That's Gaines with a Z, sportsgear.com, and use the code LOVERS10. And now, back to the episode.
And we're back. And now it is time to speak with the man who has been chiming in, giving us his own gems, Mr. Kyle Williams. Kyle is a fellow Towson alum. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Whoop,
Go
whoop.
Tigers.
TU.
TU.
And he is the founder of Tunnel Vision Apparel. And, I did a little bit of homework.
Okay.
And Tunnel Vision's mission is to create a culture that inspires and motivates the athlete on and off the field. It just happens to be on our apparel. So chase your dreams. So welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all for having me. I'm enjoying the conversation already.
Good.
It's very entertaining. So I want to definitely tell everybody to get out there, support this show.
Thank you.
Get involved, get engaged, because I love the conversation you guys come with.
We do what we can.
Yep.
So, of course, Mr. Williams, we've got some questions for you about you.
Let's get into it.
Who you are, what you do, and also, we are a relationship type podcast. So we got some relationship questions.
Absolutely.
So, I'm gonna let my honey bunny
So,
start it off.
I've heard the origin story, but our listeners probably haven't. So this will be a good introduction. What is the origin story of Tunnel Vision?
The origin story actually came about when those days when we were at Towson, actually. So it's a kind of a weird but amazing story at the same time. I'm not just saying it because it's me.
Yeah.
But I think it was like in between my junior and senior year. I was back at home during the summer. I remember it was hot outside. I was sleeping on the couch at my mom's house. Those days we were all broke, so we didn't have anything going on too much. Just a small job here and there in the summertime.
Yeah.
But I went to Towson. I was a sports management major, so I went there to get my degree to become a sports agent. And at the time, I was actually representing athletes who were playing ball overseas. So I got my athlete management certification when I was I think a sophomore or junior in college, and I was working for a company called Sports Management Worldwide. So at the time, I was involved in that, going to school. So I'm going to class, and then I get out and I'm trying to figure out how to get my guys placed overseas for basketball. But before that, I never had any intentions or any ambitions of owning a sport apparel brand. Everything came about so divine and so surreal. So it was one night, I fell asleep on the couch, and like I said, I was at my mother's house, and I woke up the next morning, and I just remember myself having a dream that I owned a business called Tunnel Vision. So in my dream, I actually had a business called Tunnel Vision. It was big, it was huge. I just didn't remember exactly what exactly the business did, So it wasn't I don't remember if it was directly related to sports or not. So I woke up and just something was ringing in my mind to tell me to act upon it, So I told you guys earlier that I went to Virginia State before I went to Towson for a year. So I had a buddy there. I know he could draw, but he wasn't a real slick with the art or whatnot. But he was the only person I knew. So I called him up. I was like, hey, man, I got this crazy dream. I don't know what I'm doing with it, but, I need a logo. It's called Tunnel Vision. Can you draw me up something, right? So he's like, all right, I got you. I ain't doing nothing today. So he called me back. It was an hour later, he called me back. He was like, look, check your email. I just sent you something. So I opened up the email, and it's the Tunnel Vision logo that we had today.
Dope.
So it's like he just sent it to me. I never made any edits to it, and I was like, oh, okay, that's dope. I'm rocking with that, you know.
That's dope.
And the funny part about it that I look at it now, and this week where we all started realizing after the fact was that the Maryland flag is kind of incorporated in my logo.
I see
and
it.
I did not know that, you know. So it was just kind of like, well, damn, you know, this happened and didn't need any edits, and then he did it on accident. It wasn't purposely. But it was like, oh, he was like, I didn't even know that. You know, so it kind of fell in line because obviously we from Maryland, whatever. I'm from Maryland, so that fell that way. And then, you know, from there, at first I set it up to be a nonprofit where it was about teaching individuals to stay focused, drive, dedication. You know, that tunnel vision mind frame. And then it was kind of like, you know, I had a buddy of mine. He was like, yo, your logo is cool. Like, you should be putting these on shirts. And I'm like, putting them on shirts? Like, what are you talking about? He was like, yo, it's a print shop over here. Like, we can go get some shirts and put your logo on there. Yeah. And we could sell them, you know? So I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. So we go get the shirts, get them printed up, and I put them online, right? So next thing you know, everybody who knew me and stuff was like, oh, that logo's dope. Like, I like what you're doing. Let me buy them, you know. So next thing you know, I'm slinging shirts out the trunk, you know, and they going left and right. They flying like hotcakes. I'm like, man, this is crazy. Like, you know, what is this evolving into? So I remember at that point through my connections that I was making within the sport management industry, I had ran into a gentleman who was really connected with like the top high school kids across the country in basketball, like getting them into college and stuff. So they were putting together a trip. It was called U.S. Elite. And what they were doing was they were taking the top high school, college basketball players from around the country, and they were taking them to Italy for this tournament that they were going to play other countries in basketball with. And it was great. So luckily, you know, he was just like, hey, you know, you got your own brand, right? And I was like, yeah. He was like, well, you want to be a sponsor? And I was like, all right, cool. Like, what I got to do? He was like, look, just give me $1,500. You make the jerseys, and we'll get you over there with us and everything. But the thing was, the time to go was like the week of finals for us. You know what I mean? So, like, I had a decision to make, you know. And, you know, as crazy as it was at the time, it was a good decision now. But I went. Like, I literally failed all my finals. For that, because I felt like it was an opportunity for us to really get the brand out there. And it was like, this is when I don't know if you remember Akil Carr. At the time, he was hot. He was the hottest thing smoking. And I went over to Italy with them, and everything, I videotaped everything. Like, you can go on YouTube now and see the whole trip and everything. Like, at one point the news wanted the footage that I put together because I took my camera over there and I videotaped everything. So you had like kids in Italy running around with tunnel vision shirts. You had a kill car who had all this attention at the time, and we had got into the jersey game that way as well. So things kind of took off from there and just kind of led the path from how I got started and everything, man. So it was just so crazy because like I never envisioned doing that at all. That wasn't, you know, I always wanted to be a sport agent. And then also at the time when I was a senior at Towson, I applied for an internship with Octagon. Octagon was like the biggest sport agency in the world.
Like Virginia.
Yeah, it was in McLean, Virginia, out there by like Tyson's Corner. So I applied for the position. It was only one position with the NBA division, and I got it. I was like one out of like 500 applicants or so that ended up getting that internship. And I was like stoked, man, because it was just like, you know, at the time they had signed Steph Curry was their biggest client, so I was doing stuff for him, Rudy Gay, you know, all these other people. But they were so drawn to me because of all the connections I had through what I was already doing. I knew players. Right. I was, you know, other people doing the internship, they were just sitting at their desk sending emails. I was bringing in guys who was ranked top 20 in the country that they could potentially talk to about signing with after their first year in college. So it just brought extra added value, man. But everything just fell into place. Like I didn't premeditate any of that, man. So I kind of fell into tunnel vision fell into me.
Gotcha.
So that's how everything. That's the origin story. That's how everything worked out.
That's really dope.
Yeah.
And you kind of answered halfway kind of the question that I was going to ask next, which is like why the name Tunnel Vision, which is like you said it came to you in a dream, but so I'll rephrase my question, and it's just that why do you think that like Tunnel Vision, or what does it mean now? You know what I mean? Like what does it represent now?
So at the time, when it first happened, it was just a name that came to me.
Yeah.
But now, being along in my journey and everything that we're built around, Tunnel Vision is not just a brand. In a sense, it's a meaning, like a way of life, like how you carry yourself. When you think about Tunnel Vision, you think about people who have that drive, that dedication, that ambition to go out and chase their dreams and really pursue what they want in life. So that's definitely a meaning behind it. It's being focused and not letting anything, interfere with your tunnel vision.
Mm-hmm.
You have that straightforward view and the end of the light at the tunnel. And then when I also look at it now, just growing as a man and getting closer to God as well, it kind of like it's now it's coming to me like it came to me in a dream. It's kind of like keeping me focused on that light at the end of the tunnel, what God wants me to do with the gift that He gave me as well. So it's all built around just that tunnel vision way of life. And I tell people all the time, people say, hey, well, one of the differences that I break down is like I say, hey, you can only have Nike, Under Armour, Adidas if you go buy their product and you have it in hand. But tunnel vision is a way of who you are. You're like, DJ, you got tunnel vision. You don't have to have a shirt to have tunnel vision, but you and your wife are here. You guys have tunnel vision. You want to do what it is what you're doing with this radio show.
Makes sense.
You focus on getting it done. You guys have tunnel vision. You don't have to have an actual product to have tunnel vision. So when you buy it, you're just representing yourself as a person. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, definitely.
Right. So that's how I break everything down when people talk about it.
It's a different way to kind of brand your
Absolutely.
brand.
Absolutely.
No, I think that's an excellent point.
So for our listeners, what type of apparel does Tunnel Vision offer?
Absolutely. So obviously, we're a retail sport apparel brand, so we do everything from workout gear for men and women and kids as well, sweatsuits, different workout gear. We do accessories from hats, socks, undergarments. So we do the whole nine as well. We also we're working right now with some manufacturers in Ghana and over in Africa specifically to start building our prototypes for tennis shoes. So in the next year or two, we're actually going to have our first tennis shoe prototype that we'll have done. We're working on some wearable technologies, which I haven't really put out there yet, but something different that's going to bring technology to our clothing. That'll be kind of different than what you guys have seen out there on the market. There's nothing like it being done right now to kind of separate ourselves. We're doing different things with that. And then also, as you guys know, we have our custom uniform side of the business where
that's big.
Right. We're doing so much of that now. It actually kind of blew up more so than I thought it would be. So we're getting a lot of that now. So we're doing that with all sports across the board.
Because you did the Olympics.
Yeah. So recently, that was kind of cool, man. We came up on a gentleman from Montserrat. It's like a country, a small country or island somewhere, and I don't even know. I feel silly because I don't know, but that's how crazy that things come upon us. It's just so they reached out to us, wanted to get some uniforms for their pre-trials for the Olympics, and so we got them hooked up. They loved them. And they actually won gold at the pre-trial, so they're actually going to be in the actual Olympics this year, running in our stuff.
That's dope.
That's amazing. And it's an island in the Caribbean.
Yeah, it's Caribbean island.
I just Googled it. So.
Yep. And they sent us videos of like the ceremony and stuff. It was cool, man. And you would just see your brand out there in that type of huge type of ceremony. And
it's like your baby. It's like
right. The people out there cheering them on in different languages. It was just kind of cool, man.
That's fire.
Yeah, it was wild.
That's so dope.
Right.
Well, I think even just in this short period of time, like your testimony, your explanation of like your brand and everything like that shows like how far you've come and just this, as far as especially as far as us entrepreneurs are concerned in a short period of time. I think the next question is like, to what do you attribute the success you've had so far? Like, I mean, we know that you've had that drive, but is there anything more that you would attribute your success to, like at this point in your pursuits?
Well, number one, I always give the glory to God for anything that happens to me. I mean, that's first and foremost because, getting closer to Him and learning, I know that I what I have is because of Him. So definitely, first and foremost, God is everything in terms of what comes through me, so I speak volume through that. I'm just working on his. I'm only a manager of what he gave me, so I'll never take full credit for that. But in the second light of my own onus in terms of with my success, I think I would attribute a lot of it to not giving up. You know, it's been a lot of times where I've been in some situations where I didn't think I was going to make it through. But like I was saying earlier, you just got to keep pushing through that stuff, man. And it's almost crazy to think that you're going to do something great and not have setbacks or not have failures or not be able to be in positions where things just they look blurry at the time. But you just got to keep going. I mean,
This
it's
is our
just,
second go-round at a podcast.
yeah. You just got to keep going,
We had
man.
to stop it. So.
Absolutely. And then a lot of times when we're doing certain things, we don't understand that a lot of people before us who became successful, you know, when you read books and you learn about their journeys and stuff, you know, a lot of them had major setbacks or, you know, failing and doing things twice or 3 times, or maybe as per case of the one gentleman, 100 times it took him just to figure out his invention, you know. So it's just about not giving up on what you're doing, just persevering, just keep going, man. And just that's my advice for everybody.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Because like even, you know, it's ringing true with me because I'm thinking even too, like I'm working towards my master's degree right now. And that's something we talk about. Like, you know, TJ just finished his second master's, and I'm working on my first. And you know, I was scheduled to be done this now, like May of this year, but you know, in the last basically the last 360 something days, I've like had a baby. Then my dad got sick and ultimately passed away in like a really short period of time. And then like the stress, you know, like it's just a lot. Like we, you know, my dad still lived in New York, and so kind of back and forth of like my sister and I just going up and down dealing in the hospital, and you know, and his affairs and all this other stuff like that. Like I really like fell behind, so I had to kind of like reevaluate and you know, there were times where I'm like, I don't know if I can keep doing this. And so even though I did change the trajectory in which I'm going towards my master's, as far as like spacing things out, like still pushing through and knowing like I'm still going to make it to that finish line. Yeah. Because it's, you know, it has to be done, and it has to, you have to kind of keep going at it.
In the great words of, I think it was Mike Tyson, I believe, when he said everybody has a plan until you get punched in the mouth. And we all have plans on how exactly we want it to go. And then, like God says, he laughs at us. Because
man
it's not,
plans, God laughs.
You know, so I think it's just about, you know, being prepared to get punched in the face. How you going to react when you do get punched in the face? That's the better question to how you going to get there, as opposed to thinking that everything is going to be smooth. Right? It's how you react when you get punched in the face. Yeah. And everybody's going to get punched in the face.
Yeah, everybody gets the wind knocked out of them from some time
I guarantee you. Everybody's going to get punched in the face.
Well,
how do you measure your success? With you being a sports apparel brand, how do you manage it with like the other brands? Do you even, at this level, do you still compare yourself with them? Or?
You know what? I don't think it's wise when you're doing what you're doing to compare yourself to other brands or other people all the time. Because if you get focused on that, you're not focused on what you're doing.
Got you.
You understand?
Makes sense.
And I don't say that to, I mean, of course, you have to know who your competitors are. I mean, I'm always aware.
But you don't, yeah.
Right. But I'm not, you know, I'm not dipping and diving in what they're doing all the time, because if I'm doing that, then I'm not focused on what I'm doing. If we do what makes us tunnel vision, then we're already setting up. We have our own lane. We're setting ourselves apart.
Dope.
Our thing is, you know, we design differently. Our look is unique. Our style is different. It's more hip. It's more for, you know, the younger crowd, and you know, it's just different, you know. And I feel like we separate ourselves from that standpoint. So when people see us, it's like we always get the same reaction, like, yo, nobody's designing like you guys, you know, or nobody has the ideas that you guys have, and that's kind of what we carry ourselves on. So I like to think that other people look at us, you know, and it's not a cocky thing, but you know, like I
mean, it's okay to be confident. Right. It's okay to big yourself up. I think one thing a lot of people don't do is big themselves up sometimes. Right. You know?
And I'm a very humble guy. Like I'm not, you know, I don't.
I mean, how many people could say that they've done what you've done, you know?
Right.
And those are the things I think about. Like the fact that your design, your thought was at the Olympics. That's major.
Yeah.
Even if nothing else comes from it right now, That's a story that you can always.
And you know what, T? I was thinking about that the other day. I said, you know, when that happened, I was like, listen, you know, sometimes we beat ourselves up because, you know, I tend to here's how I look at things.
Mm-hmm.
I look at things like, all right, I just turned 30. I feel like I should be here.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And we always push ourselves like, man, I should be at this point because we're so confident in what we do.
Mm-hmm.
And then other people look at you like, you know, hey, you're doing it already. So it's kind of like you got to kind of be level-headed as well and just say,
Patient.
hey, you know, you got to pat yourself on the back sometimes.
Yeah.
And I don't always do that. So I don't always give myself credit for the things I have done. I know it's a lot more work to be done where we want to go.
100%.
And it takes time, you know, just like, you know, a lot of times people talk about Under Armour when they're talking about us because of the we're close in location and the likeness and stuff and what we're trying to do. It took Kevin Plank 10, 11 years to get things rolling. You know, I think I'm at year 8 right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at it because I'm always so urgent and I want things to happen right away.
Gotcha.
But you gotta give yourself time to make mistakes. You have to learn from them. You have to be purged
100%.
in the sense where all the bad stuff flushes out. So when you get to that point, you know you on your top of your game. You on A game. You know?
So one thing my mother told me, and ever since she told me that, I always try to do it. She said you should always celebrate your wins,
Absolutely.
no matter how small or how big it is.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, if you busting your ass in your class, and you get an A, you expecting a B, celebrate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when she told me that, it just made me like, anytime, you know, if someone listened to our episode multiple times, or when we get listener letters, or we get a
New
tweet,
followers.
Yeah.
And,
I'm excited. I'm celebrating because they don't have to do those things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it can stop right now, but just to see it, it's just like, I appreciate it. So
I actually, you know, I should take that advice from you guys, man, because I always, like I said, I'm always hard on myself, man. I am. And, you know, if I do something, it never really sticks. It's like I'm already on to the next thing and try to figure it out. So I'm never really like, you know, the Olympic thing kind of, it was like, okay, that's cool. That's dope.
Yeah.
that's
You know?
dope.
That was dope. Like for a day or two,
that.
you know, I was on time.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, cool.
Nah,
you know?
Listen,
You gotta.
you from Maryland, you're
Right.
African American. People gonna look up to that. It's probably a kid right now who's drawing in a notebook his own apparel, and to be able to put a face to it. You know what I mean? I think that's what makes it dope.
Yeah. And I actually, you know what? And now that you say that, I actually measure a lot of my success off of that as well, because a lot of times I don't really understand like the effect that I have on the people around me. Like my friends, you know, they'll admit like, hey, you pushed me to do that. So I hear people like, hey, you know, Kyle was the one who, you know, inspired me to do something.
Yeah.
So when I see stuff like that, you know, I measure that to my success. That's worth, to me, that's worth more than billions of dollars when I know that I was able to touch other people to be able to move and go out and do something. Because, you know, as black people, we're talented, man. We're so talented.
We're trendsetters.
And a lot of, always, the whole world runs around black people. They want our music. They want to dress like us. They want to dance like us.
They want our style.
They want to talk like us.
Play like us.
You know, and they don't want to admit that, but they take our culture and try to turn it into theirs, you know.
Yep.
So it's just that we're talented individuals, and I think that a lot of us can really be in positions to be business owners or inventors or a lot of different things. But people just scared. Yeah, people are scared.
I think it is scary.
It is.
It's scary, but you know, that's another thing. Like with us doing a podcast, with us just doing anything, at least for me, it became like, fuck it.
Yeah.
If I fail, that's a story. That's a story for my children.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? And then if I win, it's still a story for my children. But I think so many times we stop ourselves.
Yeah.
Or we try to wait for the perfect moment. And there is no perfect moment. Sometimes you just got to jump in the water and then realize what you're going to do.
Jumping off that cliff is scary as hell.
Yeah.
It is. Taking that first leap is always hard. But
but you have to ask yourself, are you going to let the fear control you?
Yeah.
I'd be lying to you if I told you I wasn't scared sometimes, but I just didn't let it control my actions.
Shit, I'm scared.
Right, yeah.
I get scared. You know what I mean?
Right.
We ask people like, and that's another thing I had to learn. Ask people.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Me and you speak all the time.
Yeah.
But it was just like, is he gonna come on?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Is this gonna be good for your image, stuff like that?
Yeah.
And then when you said cool, it was like dope.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
had Jay Hill on. I don't know if you know him. He's from Baltimore, but he does DTLR radio, and he came on. And,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's been like the dope thing. Like, and that's another thing I would just tell people. Like, don't be afraid of the no.
Yeah, yeah.
So many people are afraid to ask the question, and then even with that, like I've had people ask me like about the podcast. How do you start it? And I'm for me, I don't mind helping them. I don't mind telling them the stuff that I did because I know how hard it can be. I know how hard it can be for you to reach out to somebody and they just ignore you.
Yeah.
It doesn't take that much time. Even if I have to schedule it and be like, all right, listen, next week give me a call, and then we'll do it. You know what I mean? So the hardest part.
My thing, and it's not a knock on anybody. I feel like, you know, especially to be African American and having your peers trying to reach out to you and do different things, like it's our duty to help each other out.
It should be.
And pull people. It should be, but everybody's not like that. Sometimes people get to a point where they feel like something is. It's not about that, man. It's not. This is not about me. It's not. You know, this is about coming out, having good conversation for people to touch other people. You know, help myself build my brand because I'm still building to help you guys as well. So if I don't get people like that, man, because I feel like, you know, we should all be working together and doing. We got to get back to the Black Wall Street days, man. Where you know,
I agree.
It's getting to that time. We're having a lot of these issues with civil rights and stuff, man. I mean, not that we're in that position, but just with the racism stuff, man. We just got to come together.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. If we come together and we show that positivity, we can control the market.
I mean, look at.
We may not be able to overthrow it, but we can make a dent.
Black spending is $1 billion industry.
Yeah,
the latest thing that really was an eye opener for everybody, I think, is when Black Panther came out.
100%.
Black Panther came out, and we did numbers, and it just showed that.
It just showed that,
You know, hey,
if we stick together,
right,
we can make it happen.
right.
And if you give us a product that. If you give us like a product that we want to consume, we will come out in droves. I mean, how many people have seen Black Panther time after time? Like I can't think of a movie since, I don't even know if I think of a movie in my lifetime where people actively were like, I went and saw it 3 times, 4 times.
But I also feel like whenever there is like a black movie, we should still support it.
Absolutely.
Like,
I mean,
just because it's that. I get it. There are a lot of movies that's trash,
right?
But they're giving them the opportunity to, you know what I mean? You know how many times a black movie comes out and they dog it, and it may be a good movie, but it's not good to them, and it's not us doing it. It's not us reviewing these movies.
Here's my thing about, and not to get off topic, but I feel like I got to touch on it. My thing about black businesses and black people trying to do things is like, as a community, we automatically start to attack each other first. Like that's everybody's resolve or first reaction to everything, and to complain about why don't you have this with what you're trying to do? And it's like, how is a black business supposed to start from the ground up and have all these resources that you want them to have to run a certain type of way when you're not putting your money in there?
Guys.
You know, these other businesses out here, these large businesses, they have all these resources because you put your money there.
Yeah, you're right.
So you have to put your money in your own businesses to be able to see them thrive. You can't just sit back and you know,
asking for a discount. It's just like,
you know,
let me get it for you know, a $50 piece for $10 or something like that. Yeah.
Right. The logic behind everything that we do is stupid sometimes. I don't get it, but like you said, I saw Black Panther 3 times, and it came out today. I'm ready to go buy it. So
I downloaded the one on. I bought it on Amazon so I can just like stream it.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's good. One thing I wanted to like just touch back on when you talked about like how do you like compare, and like, I think it's smart that you say like you obviously have to be aware of your competition, but you don't necessarily have to be in constant comparison mode. And it brought me back to the saying of like how comparison is the thief of joy, and it goes like if you're so busy looking at what everybody else is doing, you can't celebrate your wins. You can't celebrate those moments of those milestones that you hit. And so I think that's definitely crucial in any walk of life or avenue of life that you're, going down, either from an entrepreneur to an educator to human resources. Like, you want to make sure that you are pushing yourself towards the goals that you set for yourself and then some, and you want to be aware of who's around you, because you always want to be on your game, but you don't want to necessarily be so preoccupied with what everybody else is doing that you then lose sight of what it is that you're here to do.
Yeah, because you know why I say that as well is because it's an attitude killer as well. Because you could go to the next person's page and be like, man, they not better than me. Why they have this and I don't have this? And you start getting in your mind that, hey, I'm not doing something right, or when everything, people don't understand, everything is just in God's time.
Yeah.
If it's going to happen to you, it's already written.
Yeah.
You
True.
just got to keep doing what you're doing. So,
Preach.
so you can't get caught up in, like I said, man, if you checking this person's page and you see that they got this car that you want and all this stuff, and then you get an attitude with yourself and you start down to yourself, it's an attitude killer. And social media, everything is like a facade anyway.
Social media is the devil.
Everything is a front,
As I always say, it's the devil.
Everybody put their best face on social media, but you never know what's going on behind closed doors. So you can't really take that stuff for value anyway.
That one selfie, there's like 400 other ones that
Right,
didn't make the cut,
right.
like, because you got to
Right.
wait for the right moment.
That's a prime example. It took 401 selfies to get that one picture that they put up there. So that's a prime
Exactly.
example of everything.
Well,
We're gonna change gears.
yeah, we switching gears.
So
So,
we got the business side.
we got the origins, we got the whole setup. We ready for the whole,
What?
words are escaping me. I'm sorry, I thought it was something else. I was trying to make a Marvel comparison.
That'd be cool.
I was trying to make a Marvel comparison because you were talking about
Trying
Black
to
Panther,
come
and I
out
was like, he
cool.
was setting up with the origin stories. That way we can have this like whole long thing, but I lost it. That's
It's like the building of Wakanda.
Yes,
We
thank
building
you. Thank you
Wakanda. That's what we trying to do.
for building me up and not bringing me down.
Oh, is that what we doing?
You bringing me down.
My fault.
Gosh. Anyway, so we are switching gears though, because this is a
Okay.
relationship podcast. So we do want to
Absolutely.
talk. We do want to talk a little bit about your relationship life.
And he's our first entrepreneur, so I think that
Yeah. So this
that's
is like
important.
and your business life does, whether or not maybe we recognize it, or or any of our professions sometimes impact our relationships. So first thing, are you in a relationship at this moment?
I am not currently in a committed relationship.
Okay. So are you dating?
Yes. I am.
Okay, fair enough. So, let me ask you this: when you have been in a committed relationship since the founding of Tunnel Vision, how did that impact your relationship? Like, was it part of the demise of the relationship? Was it, completely unrelated? Like, what was that like?
This is going to be an interesting topic.
Okay, lay it on me.
Right. So, number one, being an entrepreneur takes an extremely amount of time and hard work constantly. Like, I have mentors and they always tell me, if you're not putting in 16 hours a day, when you have the full time to be able to do that, you're not really putting in the work that you need to be putting in. So I actually, that's the type of, every day I'm at least doing at least 15 to 16 hours. And while doing that, you have to have, if you're dealing with somebody, you have to have a partner who's understanding of what you're trying to do and be able to be flexible with that. Now, with that being said, everybody's not flexible with that. We're in a time now, I'm 30, I'm getting older. Other people are getting older as well. Everybody wants that soul commitment right now, which I understand. I mean, that's what we're grown, that's what people want.
We want that grown love.
Right, exactly. But it's kind of hard sometimes because I'm not saying like you had to pick and choose between each, but it's just like, when you understand that you're doing something to better somebody else and yourself for the future, it's kind of like you have to find people who understand. Not everybody's
You gotta find people who are willing to.
not everybody's understanding of that, and I understand because, I'm single. I don't have any kids, so a lot of times when I'm meeting people my age, they have kids. So, it's more. It's not just about me and them. Us two. It's about kids as well, and setting certain type of examples. So certain things they don't want to, just to seem like it's like a fly by night type of thing where you just. You're hanging out here and there, but there's no real commitment being shown for the kids. So I understand everything. I'm totally understanding. I just think that being in that position and trying to do that is difficult as well because, like you were saying, TJ, I went from you know, even though I started doing my business in college, I was still working a full-time job at the time. So it took me years before I could be able to build it to where I can take that leap of faith to do this full-time and leave my job. And then when I did that, part of something else that can kind of be difficult as a man is that, you know, I had my own place and everything. But in order to do that, I had to go back and stay with my mom for a little while just to save money to invest in my business.
To get it ball rolling.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
In our society, it's...
But
there is always an issue.
Right, and I don't, and I'm not, and again, I love my black woman. It's not about that, but it's a lot of times, you know, they'll get the, you know, they don't understand. You know, I'm not saying everybody. I mean, you got the ones who do, but the notion of being 26, 27, and you had to stay with your mom is just like that's the whole type of, you know, what am I trying to say?
I'm just trying to say
The stigma.
And it's just like you don't understand.
The context.
You don't
my
see the
business
picture.
bills are triple anyone's single bills. So, you know, it's just like that's, you know, but.
It's just like, like, it's not like I'm just like on her couch. And
Right,
like, I ain't shit.
exactly.
It's just like, it's like I'm doing
It's
this
like
because I'm building.
It's
I'm
a
creating this
sacrifice.
business, and I had to make a decision that made
it's
sense.
It's a sacrifice. And at the end of the day, you know, it's sometimes, you know, I've had people tell me that I was selfish, but it's not. I'm not necessarily saying it's selfish, but sometimes in life you have to be selfish with certain decisions so that you can get where you want to go in life. And it's not about being being in a position of being selfish where it's hurting somebody else. It's just you have to understand what you want out of life, and you have to go for it. And if, you know, God is putting you in a position to do that, He's going to place the people around you who understand and want to be a part of it as well.
Definitely.
And I wasn't going to let anybody stop me from doing what I wanted to do.
I mean, you gotta be happy.
Right.
That's my biggest thing. You gotta be happy, and if you don't have someone who's gonna be able to support you and understand your vision, they're not gonna be there for you.
Yeah.
Because as you're grinding now, you know, once you make it, then what? Like, once you make it, if that person was willing to sacrifice with you, shit become easier. Because
it's very easy.
Because we had to grind for that.
Right.
But if you complaining now, and then now that I'm good, now you want to mess with me, now you have time for me, or now you're understanding, like, you weren't there when I needed you.
And then it's like one thing with me, it's like growing up, and it's not, you know, it's okay. Like, some people are content with what they do, and that's fine. Not everybody's cut out to be an entrepreneur or to do certain things, right? So I always had in my mind that I knew I wanted certain things out of life, and you have to make that decision early that you're going to do whatever it is possible to make that happen. And you know, so it's like, hey, I can take the time out and spend all the time in the day with you, but this is what we're going to have. Like, this is, you know, we may be able to get a house and we may be able to get a nice car, but, you know, if we want to have the things that we really and our hearts dream about and want to do with our lives, you have to allow me to do this for us, you know. And people, you know, you have to find somebody who understands that.
Well, you answered the next question, which is that if you're single, what does you as an entrepreneur seek in a significant other? But you kind of covered those bases.
Well, it's more to that too, though. So you can still ask me that. So
okay, go ahead, roll it out. Sorry, my bad.
You have to seek somebody who is understanding of your situation, who's willing to work with you and be flexible. But also, I'm drawn to people who want things out of life as well. You know, I don't. Again, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just if this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to push you to do something as well. You know, I always come across people who have dreams and they want to do this, but they're, like you said, they're scared. So sometimes I might scare women away because I push them to do what it is that they want to do. Like, you tell me you want to do this, I'm going to come home and I'm going to have all this stuff laid out for you to do to get you where you want to go.
I got the pamphlets right here. I got the materials, the website.
This is how you get your trademark, blah, 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 blah. And I'll lay it out. And that's my way of putting it there to say, all right, let me see where you're at. What are you going to do now? I got your back. You know, you don't have to be scared because I'm going to walk through it with you. But what you going to do with what I lay out in front of you?
Makes sense.
Definitely.
So with meeting women now, do you tell them what you do?
What, right away?
Like when you meet them, like, do you be like, I own this company, or do you like test them, or?
I think somehow it's kind of hard to meet somebody straightforward without talking about what you do in a sense.
It's like a staple.
Because they gonna ask that anyway, you know.
Yeah, like where you from?
Right, where you from? So what you do? And then it's just like
No, I'm just saying. But
yeah.
Have you ever been like, I'm a manager, and left it at that? Like, you know,
I haven't, but you know what? I don't know. Maybe I should try that, man. I don't know. Maybe I should try to do something like that because it's not like I get bad people who want to just come after for certain things type of thing. But in a sense, you do have to, like when as I start to, you know, I have people who know me and pay attention to what I do. Like you will get people who treat you different because they think that you got something. You know what I mean? So I do have to watch out for that because some people just think that, you know, I got all this, that, and the third, and then they want to, you know.
I just think about coming to America because it was on last night.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
He came in.
Right.
He did a regular job.
Right.
He's loaded.
Yeah.
But he was just trying to find the right one who was like, I don't even care what you do. I like you.
Yeah.
I like what you're about. You have a drive, you know? So it's made me think like.
And I get that because now that it was certain things that I used to look for in a woman when I was younger, that now I don't even care about this stuff. I just want to know if you're real, and you know I'm gonna be able to have a future with you in a lot of different ways.
That makes sense.
So you gotta find your Lisa.
Yeah. You gotta find your Lisa. I need to go to McDowell's.
Or you gotta go to Queens. That's where I'm from.
Right. You gotta go to
Anyway.
Queens.
Don't such a hater.
You know what? I like New York. I love New York, man.
It's a great place.
Too.
When I need a burst of energy, I go to New York, man. It's just like the bright lights in the city just get me.
It's a different feel.
Right.
But I like Maryland.
You like Maryland?
I've liked Maryland more. I mean, there's things that I miss about New York that I miss my subways. Like,
Right.
I miss 24/7 transportation. I miss being able to just walk to the corner store.
Yeah.
I miss those things.
See, we got the city and we got Baltimore City and Washington D.C. But it's not as
The energy
lit.
isn't there.
Right. The energy is not
the
like
same.
New York.
It's not
though.
the same.
Right.
But
Right.
I mean, coming from a city, those cities are compatible.
Right.
To a certain extent. I mean, you got to drive everywhere out here, but
Yeah.
I like the idea. I don't know. Maybe because I'm older and I'm thinking about my children. Like I like the idea of my child being able to have a Friday Night Lights, like being able to have a backyard and really have a backyard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like my daughter's gonna grow up living in a house. I didn't grow up living in a house. I grew up living in an apartment building, and
that's
in
a
my
different
mind, that's what I was gonna live.
Yeah, that's a different perspective too, because like you said, you know, I never lived in New York, so I don't know how it is to live in there full time. You know, I always go, it's just like, damn, these big buildings and these lights and everything.
And it's still like it has its energy. Like I tell people all the time, people are like, oh, what's the best time to visit New York? And I'm always like, well, anytime, but in my opinion, the best times to visit are like Christmas time or in the summer, because there's nothing,
Definitely the summer.
There's nothing like Christmas in New York, and there's nothing like summertime in New York, because like summertime, it's like the feeling you're talking about, that energy, like it's palpable. Like you can feel like everybody's outside. You can walk out, people out there grilling, they playing music, and like, you know, sometimes the cops get calling you, rightfully so, because you're being loud. But it's like New York just has a different energy. It has like this vibe to it. So like, yeah, those moments are the ones that I still like. I miss sometimes, or I crave. But like, I agree with TJ too. It's just like I like that like Baltimore kind of gives me a little bit of both. Like it's still you know, you can get some city edge, little grit to it, but then also you can kind of like come back to like, okay, this is a
and it's close,
safe neighborhood, you know, like that
it's
type
close
of
to
stuff.
New York.
But sometimes I'll like drive far away, like to Gaithersburg or Waldorf or something, and be in the woods and be like, man, it might be cool to have this house out here with all this land and just in the middle of nowhere.
I think he would go crazy.
How you think you would go crazy? I think it's like
not that far.
I think because
I wouldn't mind being
scary.
secluded.
Yeah,
but I don't want to be somewhere like
you don't
where people can get you.
You're right. I don't want the people to be able to get me. I want to be able to, like, I don't mind being far away, like secluded wise, but I don't want to be like dumb far. Plus, that's too far. That's too far south for me.
I mean, but like recently, I went to go. I drove out to West Virginia and watched one of my you know, my young boys play.
Yeah.
And then it was like all mountains and houses with all this land. And I just thought it'd be cool, man, to, you know, to be out there and being able to ride your dirt bikes with 4-wheelers just all over the place and kind of just step outside. It's peace and quiet. You don't have to worry about anybody.
I like Owens Mills. I like that area. So if I can get like some acres in Owens Mills, then I can do all that. Like Just find a place in Owens Mills.
I guess you're right.
Where I can just do it. I mean, maybe a little more expensive.
Right.
I just don't want to be like super far.
Yeah.
Like I still want to be close to the city. So
well, if I can have something like that and still be close to the city, then that's ideal.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, he wants to be where we have like enough space between us and our neighbors that he can have like loud parties and not have the cops called on us. And then,
that's dope.
But then like not be so far that like you got to run 3 miles so if you need help like before you can get to the next person.
That's my biggest goal. My next house, I want it to be like my forever home, but I want it to be big enough that like I can invite my family over and they can stay comfortably.
To be honest with you, that's why I left Virginia State, because it was nothing down there, and I'm used to, being close to the city and stuff, and just like, when I wanted to get shoes, like, it's like what the. This mall don't have anything. Like I just wasn't used to it.
Ordeal,
Or you leave the campus and it just looked like Wild Wild West. Like and that kind of got to me. It did get to me. So that's actually why I came back to Towson.
See, so for me, I went to Coppin first. So when I went to Coppin, well, originally I visited her at Towson. So Towson was lit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She had the meal plan. She had the basketball gym was open. So I was going there on Saturdays hooping as a high school senior. So I was like, oh, if this is what college is like, sign me up. So I got accepted to Coppin because my grades weren't the greatest. So I went to do a campus tour. Coppin looked cool. But it wasn't until I got to Coppin that I realized, like, this isn't Towson. This isn't Towson. This experience is totally different. Because they only had one place you could eat on campus, the Cav. The basketball court at the time was used for women's basketball, track, baseball, like every sport used the gym, so you couldn't just play basketball. You had to wait the intramurals, and that only happened in the spring. Like it was just so many things going against it. So I was like, I gotta get out of here. I could have went to any other school if they would have had the same things that Towson had. I probably would have stayed.
Towson was cool though, man.
Now Towson was fire.
I like Towson.
It was a great.
Like we were saying earlier, when I got to Towson, my schedule was so that my first class didn't start until about 11 o'clock. But my day ended at 3:30 Monday to Thursday.
And it was straight to the gym.
Like I could not wait to hoop.
Right.
Like that was my life.
Yeah.
So
that was fun, man.
Yeah, good times.
Oh, to be young again.
Yeah.
It's making me look kind of sad. Because, like, I get up at 5:45 now. Like, and every weekend used to be a 3-day weekend. Damn.
It was.
No class on Fridays.
Yeah, I had no class Fridays ever. So.
Yeah, listen, winter break, it's like 6 weeks. Like, you literally.
I remember, I think it was one time, the Roots had came to Towson. It was like Tiger Fest in the spring. And it was like, I had the best time ever. And then like one time T-Pain came.
We were there. I was at that concert. I was like, yo, you can really sing.
So when I came, because I did a college visit, and then Dani, she was her freshman at Towson, and Trey Songz performed. And this was like first Trey Songz.
Oh, when you first started out.
Yeah, so it was, I think it was like a free concert that they just gave.
Yeah, it was at Stevens Hall.
Yeah. Well, he was from
he's from
Petersburg,
Virginia.
Where
Virginia State is?
Virginia State is. So he would be like all over campus all the time before he blew up, like doing performances and stuff. So he probably at the same time was right when he had that just gotta make his song and just come up there doing that with y'all.
Method Man came one time.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh wow. And then I remember one time we went to Morgan, we saw Lil Wayne.
Oh yeah,
that's why he threw money.
Oh, I know that was crazy.
Yeah. That was like 09 Lil Wayne. That was like like 08, 09. It was like 07.
07, 08.
Oh, that was when he was like really hot at that time. So
it was like Go DJ Lil Wayne.
So that was dope. Right. And you could tell we were young because Busta Rhymes was the closer, and we left.
Right.
He didn't even stay for Busta, but I heard Busta's set was amazing.
How do you have Lil Wayne at 06, 07, and then have Busta Rhymes close?
Because he was a closer.
Lil Wayne should have been close.
Definitely should have been.
Right, at that time.
All right. So we got.
Forgive the dogs, y'all.
Yeah, that's not London. That's the other one. So, where do you see, just kind of tie it all up in a bow, where do you see Tunnel Vision going in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, I want Tunnel Vision to be a global brand. I want to have our hands wrapped around the market. And I know the sport apparel market is like I want to say, it's huge. It's almost like into the trillions almost.
Mm-hmm.
And in order for us to, even if we can get like 5 to 10% of the market, even if we get 3, we're really in the game and really being able to compete. So I definitely want to be out there showcasing what we can do with the likes of a Nike, Under Armour, Adidas. I just feel like we come with a different flavor and a style of what we can do. Like you said, it's just about continuing to build ourselves, our brand, and pushing forward. And a lot of people don't know, like, we're in this space right now where we're really getting a lot of attention and bringing on investors now. Like up until this point, I built it up with my own money. Like I never had anybody put a penny into my business. So when we're able to do that, we're going to be able to do a lot more things on a much larger scale that's really going to catapult us, man. So I just pray that I can have a chance to be able, like you said, TJ, you messaged me one time, you like, yo, Kyle, you gonna be doing the tennis shoes one day and everything. I'm like, yo, T, I hope so, man. I promise you.
Go up to size 15.
If I do it, I'm gonna make sure you always laced up. Right? So,
Listen, I'll purchase it.
Right.
They don't make size 15s and everything,
right.
so you know what I mean. Right. I would appreciate it.
Right.
You know what I mean.
So from that standpoint, I want to be in that position to have my brain on that level. But I think for me from a personal standpoint is being through the journey and understanding how hard it is sometimes for Black-owned businesses to get the financing that we need or the resources that we need to be able to really showcase our ideas, because we all got great ideas, but sometimes we don't always have the resources to. And I'm not making a race thing, but the white companies get resources quicker and easier than the Black companies do. Yeah. We got to go through a much
more hurdles,
jump through more hoops.
More hoops. You have to prove yourself a lot more than others do. And I really want to make, I'm not going to say easier because the lessons come from your journey and your struggles that you have, but I want to be able to help and support those other Black companies that have ambition to do certain type of things.
Yeah, you always say you got to be twice as good to get half as much.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
And then I guess, and I mean, again, you kind of touched on it, but like we're talking like ultimate end game situation. Like, what is the ultimate goal of tunnel vision?
My ultimate for tunnel vision or for myself?
Both, yeah.
For myself is to be able to run my business from a beach while I'm drinking, having drinks and chilling.
I support that notion.
Only thing I have to do is make the very large decisions.
Sign your name a couple times a day.
So everybody else, you guys can run it.
Goal.
Just call me when there's a problem or something that you really can't take care of, type of thing.
That's dope.
That's for myself, because I want to be able to build it so my family can always have jobs, so that we can create jobs for our own and different things, man. Just a lot of people who need opportunity. We even have. I'm real big on. I really want to have a workforce reentry program for people who might have got convicted of something. It's not real crazy, as long as it's not murder or anything, or even still in certain situations, but we can give somebody a second chance at life, because a lot of us don't get that. We get out and tell people, hey, don't get in trouble again, but we don't give them anything
walk
to
the
keep
straight
them
and narrow.
away from
It's like
them.
nobody hired me.
Say that because my father, that's kind of what his job is. So he works with like adults who been incarcerated, and he basically helps them like find a job, resume building, give them money so that way they can like get to the jobs, interview prep. So that's pretty dope that you even thinking about that. Most people don't think about stuff like that.
And then most like apparel companies, most of them are doing the manufacturing in different countries. Like I really want to do the manufacturing here, so that way we
bring
can
jobs
create
here.
Jobs, like jobs galore. Like that's my biggest goal.
That's amazing. And I think what's funny is like I something you said like kind of triggered something in my head, which is like for me, like my ministry, my path is like working with children, obviously, and doing that. And like I was like, dang, all these amazing guests that we have are these people of color who are doing amazing things, that are young, that are, college educated, that are, been through things, not coming from the same backgrounds as like the kids I work with. And it's like, I'm like, I need to have like a job fair or something, like, because I have kids who like, want to do something, but they don't know what to do. Or they have these talents, but they don't know necessarily how to channel them. And so having people like yourself and other previous guests that we've had come speak to them is something I think I really want to try and pull together, because let them know, like, what, when you have that drive, when you have that ethic, because like I love my kids to test, but I'll be damned if they not. Some of them are so lazy, like And one thing I always kind of lecture my kids on is like, I can't want it more than you.
Right,
I can't,
right.
I can't want it more for you than you do for yourself.
Yeah.
And even in middle school, it's just like with your academics, your dedication to your behavior, whatever. And
even
so
sports.
Yeah, even sports.
Like AAU, that's how I used to be. And that drained me because I'm like,
you wanted it more than
I
the kids
wanted
sometimes.
it, and I used to always. They used to always make fun of me. I used to always be like, "It's basketball."
Right, but
like it's so simple.
Yeah. The reality behind things as well is that I don't think people like youth, like kids, really understand how hard you have to work to get where you want to go in life.
Yeah, they just,
you know what I mean?
They don't really understand it until it's
when
too
you
late.
think that you're working hard, no, you gotta work 2 times harder than that. You know, and that's like the mentality that you have to have. And then also, I lost my train of thought, but it was something that I wanted to say to you in terms of with the kids. But what I was to go back to Black Panther, the hype behind getting everybody out to see it is because we wanted black kids to see somebody look like themselves in a position like that, because all the superheroes and people they see on TV, it's always white people,
or green.
Right. And then to be able to see, a black man, a king, and be the richest person in the world, and being able to run this crazy
teenage
technology
girl is like is the tech wizard.
Right.
His
sister's like the smartest.
The smartest person like on the planet and everything. Like everybody comes to her.
Right.
And I say it all the time because I'm like, especially because I teach science, and I'm like, I'm trying to groom future Shuris and T'Challas, because I'm like, I want them.
We got to do. So
because they it's there.
Right.
It's there. It's just you're trying to cultivate them and exposing them to that type of stuff into what we do. And what you all do is so important, because I'm just a teacher, so of course I care and I beat it into their brains as much as possible. But they see me all the time. They know it's just like, that's your job to want me to be good, make something of myself. But I'm like, but there's other people that want it too.
You know what? I pray every day. I ask God all the time to use me, to be able to use me as an example for that, because I really have a true genuine what am I trying to say? A true genuine love for trying to stand out and show the youth that you can do the things that you want to do. Like, I really want to be T'Challa and show people like, look, man, you can do this too. I want to be T'Challa, and I think that what I'm doing, and to be able for it to be cool, because it's sports with a lot of kids. Everybody loves sports. To be able to say, look, man, you can do this too. We're the only black-owned sport apparel brand out here on this scale to be able to do this once we get there. And for me to be able to say that, like, that's powerful for them to say.
It is.
Oh, man, I love sports. Why can't I go do something with sports?
And everybody's not going to be on the court or on the field.
Right.
Like,
and
you got
but
that's the biggest thing that they have to learn.
Right.
Like, we all love basketball.
Yeah.
But the worst person in the NBA will murder.
Right.
Worst person. The person that you be like is trash.
Right.
You put them out on regular basketball playing, they will murder
mop
you.
the floor with you.
So, we gotta prepare their minds at a young age.
You're absolutely right. And again, I already got the gears going in my head about how I want to reach out to you, everybody, past guests, and really do something big for my kids or kids in general, because it's important.
Yeah, I'm always about the speaking and everything, so I'm down.
Thank you.
Yep.
With that being said, this concludes the interview portion of our show. This was great.
I had fun, guys.
I'm glad.
Appreciate y'all. It was fun.
But as always,
to have you. And now,
it's
time to go into our quarrel.
Yes.
So you can stay here for this.
Okay.
And you can always feel free to chime in, because we have, like I said, this is not a free for all, but this is a part where we can definitely use input, because TJ and I, we feel how we feel, but we're not the only ones. I'm gonna start by saying that whenever we start into our lovers quarrel, I have my own little spiel that I do. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
It's gonna be so damn silly. Go ahead.
Here we knocking and bucking and ready to fight. I bet you I'ma throw them things so hard as best thinking twice. See me, I ain't nothing nice.
You gotta know it.
I don't know.
It.
And we like Saddam Hussein, Hitler, and Osama bin Laden. Now they stay gun popping. Oh, this is not even good. Not enough is enough, boy. Rough and it's rough, boy. Nuck is a must, boy. Nuck if you buck, boy. Because we about to fight.
I mean, you're gonna lose, but
I'm not gonna lose.
Go ahead.
I'm not gonna lose.
What's the quarrel for this week?
So the quarrel for this week, even though I don't know the words to that, it's hard. It's weird to read the lyrics versus when you just like sit. Anyway, all right. So, is your spouse or partner allowed, and I'm putting that in quotations for those who are listening, to say no, quote unquote, when to sex when desired by their significant other? So, if you want it, and your significant other is not for it right now, or vice versa, does that person have the right to say no?
I mean, of course, we have the right to say no.
I say yes. You absolutely can say no.
Should they say no is the question. That should be the question.
Why shouldn't they say no?
They shouldn't say no.
They should just say never say no.
Unless they like dying or something like
What
that.
if you're sick? Or what if you're like exhausted?
What's sick?
Nigga, sick.
How sick are we? Like, are we sick like we can't move? Sick?
Like, it could be, I have a migraine, I have a stomach bug, I have the flu, I have strep throat. Like, that's the last that you don't even feel sexy.
Has nothing to do.
That's so. Point is, like, but how would you even want, like, reluctant at best intimacy?
I mean, I think that's pretty stretching it, but
okay.
Of course, if there's like something like that, no.
So we're talking about like a day-to-day, like,
but if
okay.
You're just saying no,
so somebody kind of hits
no.
you with the tap on the shoulder. It's supposed to just be like,
hey, you already know what it is.
Game on. But okay, what if you just like had a huge argument and you're just not there yet?
Oh, that's the best time. We gotta make up.
Oh my god. You reserve the right to tell somebody no. Even the person you've married, even the person you've been in a committed relationship. Not saying that you got to deny them at every turn, but at the same time, everybody has a moment that they can say no.
But why are you saying no?
Who knows? It doesn't. Quite honestly.
Just cause.
What?
You should be able to.
So let's say once every 4, 5, 6 months, that person says no just cause. It's just not in their. It's not in their spirit at that moment. That's wrong.
6 months, nah, you can get that.
So your concern is about the timing of it. You're like, is this like a weekly thing or a monthly thing or a yearly thing? Yeah. So what if I'm saying it's like every couple months?
Sure.
Every 3 months. Somebody's like, I'll pass.
Nah, you making this quarterly.
You making this quarterly?
Yeah, nah.
Kyle, do you have an opinion?
Hey,
you're out of it? What?
Hey, look.
That's a first.
Somebody's tapping out. You don't have to. You do not have to.
No. I'm saying, if you're asking, do you have the right? Yes, you do have the right. Should you is the question.
Yes. No. Yes, because in my opinion.
Go ahead.
I'm going to talk to Kyle. In my opinion, even if you think somebody should do something, if somebody does something just because they think they should do it, like I should do the laundry. I should do the laundry, or I should wash the dishes, but I might no stop halfway through and half-ass it.
Can I do the laundry? Yes or no. But should I do it? Yeah, if that's my job.
But it shouldn't be. It's not about jobs.
I'm not saying no. I'm giving you that as an example.
So it's a chore.
I'm not gonna lie. I might be like a jerk in a sense because
yes, I'm all for jerks.
Nah, but I say that because it's sometimes where I be tired as hell, and I'll say no. I don't feel like it right now.
No.
I'm tired.
Not for jerks.
I'm tired.
See, you thought you were about to be on his team.
But if I get told no, I'm upset.
Oh, so you're a hypocrite.
Yeah, so I'm a hypocrite in a sense. But sometimes I might just be tired as hell.
You've been a hypocrite.
I'm not a hypocrite.
You have been a hypocrite.
For what?
For this.
No.
Yes, you have.
No.
So first off, I think, personally, I just feel like if your mind and you know how I am, I feel like your mind,
body, and soul,
they have to be in sync with each other. So if you're not in,
but sometimes you gotta take one for the team.
And believe,
sometimes you guys be like, you know what, this person wants it. I don't want to do it, but you know what?
Believe you me, women and men take one for the team, take 2 for the team, take 10 for the team, more than you even realize it. But then every once in a while, you just gotta be like, nah, like I can't, not right now, because and that's the thing. Like, so don't like.
But you also it also has to be taken into consideration. What is the frequency? If they asking for it every day, then yeah, you can say no.
But if it's like
That's
only
true.
once a week,
If they're asking once a week and you saying no, then nah, we got a problem.
okay. Listen,
It's
can.
all about the frequency. I mean, listen, every relationship is different.
There's levels.
All
to
I'm
this.
saying is that if it's only once a week and you're telling me no, we have a problem.
Okay, but if it's
Now,
relatively,
if I'm asking every single day, but every day is just, or you in that text like, hey, be ready. Then yeah, you can tell me now. See, compromise. I'm here with you.
okay, so frequency has an impact on your opinion on this label.
100%.
Okay.
I mean, that's for anything.
Okay.
That's for anything.
Okay.
If you just worked a 12-hour shift and you come home dead tired, and we did something yesterday, and I'm asking again, like, no,
I reserve the right to be let, and I shouldn't feel
No.
compelled to say yes.
no. If someone's asking every single day, then yes, you have every right to say no, because that's every day.
What about every other
30
day?
days. Every other day? No. I mean,
What? So 4
No.
days a week?
no. I'm saying every other day. I mean, for real, you shouldn't have to ask for it, but it shouldn't have to be like, can I? Hey, babe, can we please? Like, it shouldn't be like that.
It's not, I'm not saying it
But
should
I'm
be.
just saying.
But sometimes, even when you don't have to ask like that, it's just still sometimes
can-
from time to time there are anomalies. There's gonna be times, and you're just gonna be like, I
You got it.
really can't. I can't. And I'm speaking for men and women. Like, you just be like, no.
I am too.
Fair. Well, you can say no.
But should you say no?
Yes, you should say no, because you're gonna just get whack. Like,
You should only say
loving.
no if it's like a frequent thing.
That's true though. When you get the
But if you only
whack lady.
seeing your significant other or your partner once a week or once every 2 weeks, and he asks and you say no,
But what if the one day you've seen that person and it's like, I'm dying. Like, I
haven't seen you in 2 weeks.
I
and
have
you're
the
dying,
flu. I have pneumonia.
You want to take one for the team?
No, you do not.
You have to.
No, you do not.
I only see you. I only see you every other
Who
week.
wants pneumonia box? Like, nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. Somebody's hacking up a lung. Put your hand down. Somebody's hacking up a
Hey,
lung.
listen. If I only see you every other week, I'm gonna listen.
You're problematic.
I guess.
I'm done with
I'm
you.
just a realist.
I'm hanging up.
I mean, that's cool.
Click.
I won.
You did not win.
You just hung up.
You did not
You
win.
can't come back into this.
You did not win.
Mic is off.
Don't touch my microphone.
Mic is off.
Get out of here. Let's wrap this. Put a bow on this episode. Had a wonderful conversation with Kyle.
We did. It was a pleasure, Kyle. Thank you so much. Please
Yes.
let the people know where they can get some tunnel vision, where they can follow you at. We'll also put it on the bio so all of our listeners will be able to look you up. But
appreciate you guys.
Of course.
Again, I had a great time.
Great.
Thank you for having me. I come back anytime, support whatever you guys are doing.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
So let me know, and I'm showing up like T'Challa. I'm coming.
Yes.
All right. No, but you guys can you can reach us. Our website is www.thetunnelvision.com. So that's THE tunnelvision.com. All of our social media handles on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is at the Tunnel Vision. So the THE in front of Tunnel Vision.
Mm-hmm.
Our storefront is located in Annapolis, Maryland.
Okay.
That's 111 Chinquapin Round Road. We're in Suite 204. It's in Annapolis, Maryland. And then
you got a store, y'all.
Yep. And
Brick
then
and
our
mortar.
phone number is 410-571-5064. And then if you need to reach out to me via email, whether there's questions, help needed, or you just want to place an order, whatever, you can reach me at K Williams. That's KWILLIAMS, and that's at thetunnelvision.com. All right.
Perfect.
And that will all be on the bio, so y'all be able to see that and reach out to him and get y'all tunnel vision on.
Yes. Let's
Yeah,
do it.
Let's we need to get everybody in some tunnel vision.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's
we
my
do.
end goal.
Let's
we
do
want to
it.
make the everyday wear, so let's get it.
I was already looking. I like that that floral hoodie.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
We actually got our website is being revamped,
Oh, is it?
so you're gonna see a full store loaded up in there in the next couple of days with all new summer stuff and everything.
Dope.
And I'm talking about brand new stuff that you've never seen. So
Yes, I was scrolling. I was like, while we were in here, I was like, okay, let me see what I like.
yeah, leggings, everything. So you'll see everything.
Yes, leggings. That's not, you talk about diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Yeah.
Leggings are a girl's best friend. Well, thank you so much, Kyle. We appreciate it.
Appreciate
folks.
you. God bless.
Yes.
Thank you.
All of our listeners out there, any folks who looking at us on YouTube, we appreciate you. We thank you for listening and tuning in. Again, you can find us on Instagram at loversquarrelshow.
On Twitter at loversquarrel7.
If you have letters or questions that you want to ask us that we can do when we have a listener letter segment, you can email us at loversquarrelshow@gmail.com. And yeah, we're out there.
Yeah.
So as always, this has been another episode of Lovers Quarrel. And like we always do, we fuss.
We fight.
But we love. Bye.
All right, y'all.